I'm so excited to welcome on a world champion professional women's lacrosse player, Team USA, my former teammate, Courtney Taylor. Courtney, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Courtney, it's so nice to meet you. I'm Laura. I am Annabelle's co-host, and I cannot wait to learn more about box lacrosse today.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
So great. Courtney, where are you right now? I think you're in New York.
I am in New York. I'm doing a little summit, 3-day summit for something called The Post, which is a bunch of former athletes. So it's an awesome time here. Just getting to meet everyone and hear their experiences.
That's so cool. You have had some crazy cool experiences just in the last couple of years of your life, just seeing you in person and following along with you on social media. But I would love to talk about the box championship, just initial feelings. How are you feeling coming off of that gold medal?
Oh, I mean, the feeling is kind of indescribable. It is so awesome to be a gold medalist, a world champion, but to also be the first ever women's team to do that is just truly an amazing feeling.
Yeah, what's it like being part of history and actually being that first team to be able to compete in an event like this? Looking back, now that you've had time to reflect, what's it like being that part of that history?
I think it is a really cool experience just to be able to be the first and now be able to help teach the next generations how to play box lacrosse, what it's about, and kind of just be the trailblazers for the next generation of the game.
Courtney, you said team one in your Instagram caption, and I can imagine that that was something that you guys were rallying behind, maybe a phrase that you were using. Can you just unpack what team one meant to this group?
Yeah, team one was kind of from the beginning of the tryout stages. This is team one. This is the first team to ever do it. And we're also one group, one unit. So just being that team one was a special saying every time we cheered or every time you just thought of something. It's team one. It's not, oh, me on the team or the coaches. It's team one. Everyone's a part of the same thing and everyone's the first person to do this and create history.
Who came up with that?
Probably Coach Cap, I would have to imagine. Just the first tryout I went to, it was just team one, and so kind of just bought into it from there.
What was the tryout process like for you guys?
So it's very interesting because obviously a lot of people in the U.S. are field players. We all had to go to a tryout at some point, probably a year to 2 years ago. Some of them were in New York, some of them were in Philly, Baltimore, I think. So you just showed up and it was kind of the first time you ever played with your pads on, and there was a ton of people there just trying to learn the sport. So it was really challenging. I don't think I have ever sweat so much in my life after that tryout. But it was a really, really cool opportunity, and it kind of just made me realize this is a whole different way of lacrosse, and it was incredible.
It really is, Courtney, and I love that you said you're like, I've never sweat so much because you've played in some intense lacrosse games. You've probably had intense tryouts just with the U.S. team regardless and professional lacrosse over the summer. What was the hardest part for you? Was it having to run with pads on, having a heavy helmet on? Was it taking a hit? I know you're a defender, so that's not something you're afraid of, but what was the hardest part about the transition from field lacrosse to box lacrosse for you?
I think, like you said, it's the playing with the pads, the helmet, the stick, but all of those things you kind of get used to after a couple minutes. But the whole idea of it is it's just a totally different game. I had never played ice hockey, but I watch it a lot, and it was pretty much ice hockey, but with a lacrosse stick. And so learning completely different rules and the way you sub on and off the field and kind of the positions. It took a lot of learning to understand how box lacrosse worked, what every position meant, and just kind of what your role was on the field. Where in field, it's been something we've done our whole lives, so you just know it, and it is natural to you, but this was not natural, especially being a little bit older and not having ever played it before.
Okay, I like that you described it as ice hockey with a lacrosse stick. I cover a lot of hockey, so I'm like, okay, at least that's something I'm familiar with. But how would you describe, like, what is box lacrosse really for people that have no idea?
It's an indoor version of lacrosse. It's primarily played in Canada, but now in Boston, or there's teams in Boston, then I guess there's leagues in Boston, but then there's the NLL for the men's, and it's in a rink with turf. The nets are really small. It's hard to score, and the goalies wear a ton of pads. And yeah, it's 5v5. It's really fast paced. So
It's very different, and like you said, the nets are very small. But you did say, it's started in Canada, right? That's where it's normally played. And I actually got the chance to play a little bit of box lacrosse in Canada, and I picked up so many little skills and just like nuances from the Canadian players that I would have never known playing lacrosse in the United States. What did you learn from the Canadian players, and what did you learn from watching them play over this journey of box lacrosse?
yeah, Canada is super talented. They all grew up playing it, so I think we were kind of watching them just throughout the tournament. They really brought the physicality. They knew that it's not field lacrosse where you can't hit, you can really hit. So just being prepared for that from them, and then their stick skills is just again something in box lacrosse where stick skills are really important and are. You just have to have really good stick skills, and the Canadians have amazing stick skills. So that was one thing that I wanted to take from them.
That's good. What did you have to get on the wall more? How did you increase your stick skills? We got Courtney Taylor's stick skill routine. What's it gonna be?
Probably just wall ball. And although I'm not as much of an attacking player, I do like to just go to the field and shoot. I feel like I just play around with my stick a lot more when I'm on a field rather than at a wall.
That's so good. I remember you, me, and my sister Mallory, who's an attacker, were doing 1v1s a couple years ago at Wellesley Middle School outside on the turf out there.
Yep.
And I think I needed to play some defensive reps. And so you were like, sure, I'll play attack. I think you scored a few on me. So you are a good attacker. Don't sell yourself short.
Thanks, Annabelle.
What was it like getting to actually play Canada in the championship?
That was probably the most challenging game that I've ever been a part of. It was also an awesome environment because, again, it's in a rink, so it's indoor, so the fans are right there. It's so loud. And getting to play against the Canadians, who it's their national sport, was a crazy, crazy atmosphere. It was an awesome game and so intense and just so physical. I had such a good time.
Courtney, you mentioned to me earlier last week, you're saying, hey, there were a lot of great moments in that championship weekend, but it was really a moment that I had with the Netherlands, some of the players from the Netherlands, that really stuck out to me. Could you just elaborate on what that moment was?
Yeah, so it's, lacrosse isn't as big in other countries, and they all have to fundraise to come over to play us, and obviously they don't have as many resources to be as talented as we do here, and they were so happy to play us. And the one after the game, after we played the Netherlands, the captain spoke to us and she said, you're the girls we aspire to be, we look up to, you're the girls we watch on TV, and we're just so thankful to be here to play you guys. And I think that was a really special moment. It kind of gave me my why I'm doing this. It's just awesome to grow the game and to inspire other people.
Well, I love that you bring up the why of why you're doing this. You said you use it to inspire, but why else are you still playing?
I love it. I love playing. I can't sit still, so I need some way to keep me active. And I love getting out on the field, and I love being with my teammates. There's nothing better than stepping on the field. with your teammates, and just so many laughs, so many memories, and so much fun.
Okay, I want to jump back really quick, though, to that Canada Championship game. What's the moment that really sticks out to you in that game is like, we got this, like, we're gonna win this first World Championship?
So I guess when it was halftime, we kind of went into the locker room. I don't even know. I kind of blacked out during the whole game, but I don't know if we were down or tied at halftime. But just us going into the locker room and all sitting there, and everyone just had a great piece of advice to how we were going to win. And it was kind of in that moment that I had no doubt that we weren't going to let this moment get past us.
What were some of those pieces of advice that people were saying?
It was kind of strategic. I honestly don't fully remember, but it kind of was like, more sub-box stuff, because that's a whole new issue not issue, but whole new aspect to the game is when to get off so you can get your defenders on so we don't get breakaways, some stuff like that, and more just motivation, like, we got this. We're going to use our strength and our athleticism, and we're going to come out on top.
What do you think it says about the future of lacrosse in the United States, considering the fact that you were able to beat Canada, which is like the global powerhouse in this sport?
I think just anything's possible. You just got to work really hard, and things will come and work out in your favor if you put the time in. And I think the future of the sport is going to be so awesome. There's people raving about watching the game and saying this is the best game we've ever watched, and it was so fast. We hope there's a women's league at some point. So it was really, really cool.
Courtney, you mentioned how fast it is and that the importance of getting in and out of the sub box. And this is a really high intensity sport with cardio, right? You said you'd put a lot of hard work in. What did you do off the field or off the arena court to get, in the right shape for box lacrosse? Because it is different from playing full field, being a defender, lacrosse over the summer. What did you do to cross train, or how did you change up your workouts to be able to tailor yourself perfectly to win a championship in box?
Yeah. So actually this winter, Charlotte and I played in the Boston box men's league. So I think that really helped us get to understand what kind of shape we needed to be in. And then throughout the summer, we would go to the field and do box drills, just a little bit different, quicker, shorter. And then we had a bunch of training camps too. So at every training camp, we'd play games after games, and that really helped us. I think, especially when we went into the tournament and we're playing back-to-back games for 4 days straight.
What was it like training in that men's league?
Oh, man, that was a crazy experience. Charlie and I showed up, and there was grown men, and we looked at each other. We're like, are we sure we're at the right spot? Is this really what we're playing in? And then the guys were super nice and were so excited to have us on the team. And they were so helpful because they've played for so long, and a lot of them played college lacrosse. And so they gave us, and in the winters and summers, they would play box. And they gave us so many tips, just little things to try and help our game. And I think that was really awesome.
Have any of them reached out to you since your championship win?
Yeah, I did get a couple on my Instagram, which was really, really nice.
I love that, Courtney. That is so cool. And it really just shows your ability to adapt and do anything to put yourself in your country in the best position to succeed in this new game, really. Because box is, it's lacrosse, but it's different, like you said. And that's really cool. And I think it's great advice for younger athletes and especially younger lacrosse players, because box is now becoming more of a thing. You guys just fully paved the way and said, yes, we're the U.S., we can do this. And so it's really showing these younger athletes, hey, if you want to take your game to the next level and try new things, you have to find ways to adapt. You might have to go play in a grown men's box league. Was there ever a moment in one of those games where you're like, I just got hit really hard?
Yeah, almost probably every play after. And I guess someone had followed through with their stick, and, in the moment you don't really realize, and I had an outline of a stick on my leg. I was like, yeah, this kind of hurts, but it was fun, so it was worth it. But I feel like then I got to the tournament, and all the girls hit really hard too, so it prepared me for that, I think, which was really nice.
I love what Annabelle said about, like, do whatever it takes, go to whatever lengths to be able to learn this new sport. And I know that it wasn't an entirely new sport for you, considering the fact that you played field lacrosse. But for somebody that's, like, a little bit older, maybe they just graduated from college where they were an athlete and they're looking to try to continue their athletic career, but they might have to do it in a different way. How would you, like, what's some advice that you might give to them for how, like, to start a new sport, or if they're trying to figure something else out?
Yeah, I think work really hard, and if you're an athlete, you have that growth mindset where you can do anything and you're always willing to learn and try new things. So just keep that mindset and work as hard as you can, because it's possible.
You know it is, and you've proved it, Courtney. Courtney, last question. What's next for you? You're coming off a gold medal. You got work things going on, but what's next for CT Courtney Taylor?
Oh, what's next? So back to work, unfortunately. Can't play lacrosse forever, even though I wish I could. No, but I'm excited to be back at work and really grow my career in the business world. I think it's a totally different mindset, but I think everything that I did do in lacrosse helps me in my work. So I'm really excited to take back everything that I've learned over the past couple weeks, bring it to work. And then for lacrosse, I don't know, kind of on pause for right now, letting my body recover, and we'll see from there.
Well, I've got one more for you. You said there's some things that you've learned at lacrosse that you want to bring back to work. What are some of those skills that you learned from playing box lacrosse over the past couple of years that you do want to bring back and apply to the rest of your life?
I think in general, box specifically is you have to work really hard to get to learn a new, industry or something. I guess you could say industry. So for me, I work in construction. I have never, ever knew anything about construction at all, but I've learned so much, and I feel like just going to the first box lacrosse tryout, I was like, I don't know anything at all, but you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. And then to see how far it took me after that, and in the moment, it's not always easy to see where you are going to be in the future, but to get to that moment in the box championship and win kind of made me look back and say, I don't know anything. I didn't know anything about when I started work, but look how far I've come and look how far I can go in the future. And just that growth mindset again.
Courtney, that is so impressive, and I really hope some young athletes are able to listen to this because they can really see how you have thrived, and you are going to thrive in your work environment and all the things you have going on. And regardless of whether it's lacrosse or construction or anything else that you come across, you are such a hard worker, and I was completely honored to be your teammate. So thank you so much for joining us today on Respect Her Game. It was so fun to have you.
Thank you, guys. It was awesome chatting. I'll talk to you guys soon.